Gentlemen, turn around your mics. Hi guys, welcome to the Kinky Boots panel. My name is Kirkwood. You also might know me as Broadway Girl NYC. And I'm so excited to be here with 4 original cast members from Kinky Boots and 1 newbie, Shears. He is a legit rock and roll star, but made his Broadway debut. You guys have been with the show for 5 years. Can you go down the line? We'll start at the end, say your name and your role, and how long you've been with the show, even though I sort of already just gave that hint.
How you doing?
Good.
My name's Kevin Smith Kirkwood, and I am one of the angels. Specifically, my name is Antoinette Cookie Puss. And I've been with the show since the workshop in 2012. Yeah.
We're definitely going to come back around and talk about that. By the way, can you guys hear everybody? How about now? Can you hear? Yeah. All right, so we'll just leave the mics like this and sort of. Yeah.
I'm Joey Taranto. Thank you. I am one of the angels. My name was gifted to me by Kyle Post. My name is Terry Dactyl because of these. I'm the redhead, and I also am the referee in this corner.
There you go.
And I've been with it since the last workshop, and then I left for 2 years, and this past September, I got a phone call that said, "Hey, would you like your old job back?" And I said, "Hell yes, I want my old job back." So, yeah.
Hi, I'm Charlie Sutton. I'm also an original angel. My drag name is Katie Weber. That's basically an inside joke. It's a friend that I know that I sort of based it off of. She's really hot, so I just kind of...
Katie Weber of Broadway.
Katie Weber's a Broadway.
Yeah, she was in Catch Me If You Can. She was just in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's awesome.
That's who I based my character off of.
That's
so.
I just had a baby.
I've been with the show since the first reading, I guess, the reading that we all did, I've been with the show. I took 2 years off. I went to go do American in Paris. I did the out-of-town tryout in Paris, and then the Broadway stint, and then I closed American in Paris, and I think 3-4 months after that, they called me because my track became available, and I also said hell yes. So I came back to our family. Yeah. Oh, and I do the jump split in the show, and I'm also in the bikini. I'm the round.
So many questions. I have no trouble filling this hour.
We have a lot of questions too, it's okay. I'm Kyle Post. With the rest of these 3 boys, was in the original workshop of the show, and I have been doing it ever since. I took a 3-month leave to go travel the world, but other than that, I've been there. I think if we were to count the amount of shows at this table, Kevin wins for doing the most, and then I'm second. I'm an angel. I named myself Witty Bantour, W-I-D-D-I, and she doesn't know how to spell the rest. And I like to call myself the pretty angel. So,
and Jake?
Yeah, I'm Jake Shears, and I've been in the show for 2 weeks.
The show has now had over 2,000 performances. You guys just celebrated that milestone. I cannot even imagine. When you say that you've done the most shows and you've done the second most, how many would you guess?
I guesstimated around 1,800.
You've done
because I took 3 months off.
And for you?
And I'm probably somewhere around 1,900.
Wow.
Yeah, because I've taken vacations, and then I think I had like a 3-week sprained ankle sort of a thing. But other than that, the occasional cold.
Meetings and stuff, you have done it 2,000 times.
Right, and with out of town in Chicago.
Oh, true.
Yeah.
That's not even counting Chicago.
I'm surprised there haven't been more than a couple of sprained ankles. You guys, the things that you guys do in heels, I can't do in heels.
I broke my foot 2 days after we opened. So we were all excited, and then I do my pose in the finale, and then I was supposed to step down, and my heel got stuck on the edge of the runway, and I fell. my heel was still stuck on the stage. So I got up, everybody's I fractured my third and fourth metatarsal, and all I kept thinking is, you're in a Jerry Mitchell show, get your ass up now and finish the number. So I got up and I finished the number, and my fourth metatarsal fracture rotated because of that. So they had to put a plate in my foot. So I didn't get to do the Today Show. I didn't get to do The View. I'm fine about it now. And I did get to do the Tonys, but I was in a boot, so I stood in the back as a factory worker. And that was the year that was an amazing opening number with Neil Patrick Harris. I didn't get to do that. But I'm fine.
But they arranged for you to be in the Kinky Boots performance, which is amazing.
Jerry's amazing. All of the swings got to be a part of it. That doesn't always normally happen because it's expensive. But he arranged for the entire company to be in the show. It was very special.
Wait, Joey, I'm now having a flashback to that day that you broke your toe, and it's in the finale. I'm the British flag in the end, so I'm 9 feet tall. Like, you can't miss us. We're dead center, and we're in a freeze like this, and I just see Joey sweating after he fell, and I'm like, "Girl, are you okay?" And he's like, "I don't know." I said, "You can get off stage if you have to. I'll be fine." Thank you. You were a trooper, and then once it finished, you like collapsed. You were done.
I was out. And our PSM was like, "Are you crazy? Don't you ever finish a number? Get off the stage!" And I was like,
The show must go on. So you guys are old pros, and we're going to come back and talk a lot more about these angels. In the meantime, Jake, I want to talk to you about joining an established company. You have obviously a lot of stage experience from your music career, but what is it like joining an existing show that is already so cohesive and being the new guy?
It was one of the most terrifying things I think I've ever done. It was really overwhelming. I always thought coming into a show that was like up and running, I always wondered how they did it and how somebody kind of got plugged into a show. And then I, got to experience it. And I was really concerned that I wasn't going to be ready, that I wasn't going to have enough time. And about a week into rehearsals, I was absolutely just like, shit. I thought I was gonna be, I was like, someone's gonna realize that I do not have any idea what I'm doing. But just day by day, things got better, and everyone is so lovely, and starting to like rehearse with the swings, and DB, the associate director, was just so kind, and everyone's just been so lovely and funny and easy. And just a joy to work with. And I started actually having fun and not being so scared. But it's one of the, it's been one of the most exhilarating things I've ever done. And, but it was truly, truly, truly overwhelming for a minute there.
How did you get tapped to take on this role? Did you audition? Did you just get a call?
I have a feeling it might have been Stephen Aremus's idea.
The musical director, right?
Yeah, and we worked on. I did a musical version of Tales of the City in San Francisco about 4 or 5 years ago, and he did the original arrangements when we first started developing that show. So we knew each other from then. I have a feeling it might have been his idea. I think he was a big cheerleader for me, and I just got the call in like August, and it just couldn't. The timing couldn't have been better for me, and I was very, 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 very happy to have gotten the call and be put in the show.
So no audition.
I came in and sang a little bit for Jerry, and Will was there. I thought I was gonna have to read something, but no, I was like, "Are you sure you don't want me to read anything?" Because I'm like, I really don't know what I'm doing. But they were totally fine with it. I've not really done much theater other than I did a production of Bent in LA that Moises Kaufman directed a couple years ago, and that was my first theater I'd done since high school, and it was an amazing crash course that I basically got from Moises, and I was really happy I had that experience because I think it prepared me a bit for what I'm doing now.
I would not say that Scissor Sisters is a very theatrical band, so you had some You had a little experience in that way.
Yeah, but I've got to say, it's just it's an absolutely just completely different animal. It's you know, I say you can kind of get like, you can get lost in a concert, but this is kind of like a concert, but like cubed. You know, and the whole thing is just like I don't know, I view it kind of like this big grid that, yeah, that's now finally starting to get into my bones, and I'm having the time of my life.
Well, I'm thrilled that you'll be there through April 1st. So by then, you know, it'll be interesting to see how you settle into it and start to make it your own as you continue the run.
Maybe I'll actually be comfortable with the songs, because my two songs are they're two of the hardest songs I've ever sang. I consider myself a singer and pretty good, but damn, they're really tough. But they're happening. They're happening.
He's killing it. He jumped in and like did it, and you're killing it already.
Thank you. I was on the first I was really shitting myself on the first couple nights, and like I remember my first line on stage on my first night, my voice came out of my mouth, and I was like, "Who is that?" Who is that? And I was just really trying to like center myself, but yeah, it's been a lot of fun.
How long did it take you to learn how to walk in those heels?
They're really not that bad for some reason. I was pretty quick with them.
They give you a pair to take home and practice with?
No, I didn't take them home, but I wore them, every day. And there's like, I don't know how you all feel, but I feel like I'm sure you're so used to all those heels by now, but like my expiration is like a half hour. You know what I mean? Like, how about you guys?
About 5 years.
I hope it's longer than that, because we want you around
6, 7,
for a
6,
while. 7. Good answer. Let's go back in time. I want to hear about all of your audition processes.
You want to ask him this?
Yes, why don't we start there?
Yes, you do. Okay, so the first thing, so the breakdown, you guys all know what a breakdown is. It's like what a casting director puts out to say, here's what all the roles are for the show, so that agents and actors can know what they're looking for the show. And the breakdown said, Kevin, do you have it?
It said something like, we need tremendous, versatile actor, singer, dancers. We need you to sing high, the higher the better. Dance in heels, the higher the better. If you think you're Beyonce, you're close. This ain't no job for no wallflower. Was the last line of the breakdown.
All right, wallflowers. We're all like, oh, okay. So they called me in to sing first, and I knew I had to sing really high, so I sang Carrie Underwood, Before He Cheats, a whole step below what she sings in it. And I was like, that's pretty good. So I finished, and Jerry goes, Queen, take it up a third. I was like, a minor third? He's like, yeah. I was like, I'm gonna crack. He's like, I don't care. So I went, hit it! And I started singing, and I got to like higher than what Carrie Underwood sings it in at this point. And I was like, ah! And I finished, and I went, ooh, girl, I was giving you Harvey Firestein tones up there. And Harvey Firestein was in the room. I left and I told my agent, I was like, I'm either gonna book this or I'm never gonna work on Broadway again. So they called me into the dance call, and Joey, you were there, and you were in mine as well.
I was in that dance.
Unbeknownst to us, Charlie had choreographed a lot of the dance call, and they called it a mover's call.
Okay.
So a mover's call means a jazz square, and a grapevine, and we're good.
A single pirouette, maybe.
Maybe a single pirouette. So
This is a Jerry Mitchell.
This is a Jerry
This is
Mitchell.
a Jerry Mitchell show.
And there were like 50 guys in the room dancing. There were another 50 guys in the holding tank, and there were another like 50 guys to come for 6 roles. So the 50 guys I was in the holding tank, and the 50 guys who were dancing came out, and one guy comes out with ice on his hamstrings, crying, with 2 people holding him to leave. Literally. And my thought process was, I've been bamboozled. This is not a mover's call. This is a dancer's call, and they're all like kicking with legs higher, like bigger than my entire body. So we got in, and they started teaching us the choreography. And the first bit was what you guys see in Raise You Up, like this bit, right? In the finale, it was like, oh, I got this. And then it went into a double pirouette, which I can't do, into a cartwheel, which I can't do.
On the left side.
Yo, can't do either. Fine.
Cartwheel into a split on the left side.
Which I also can't do.
All things I can do. all my good sides. All my good sides we just named.
Turns out, yeah, Charlie Sutton was to blame for much of this. So I had a moment. I was like, I'm gonna look really dumb. I'm gonna look really stupid, and they're all gonna laugh at me. I should leave, is what I thought in my head. And I like grabbed my bag. I was ready to go. I was like, I'm gonna look so stupid. I feel so dumb, and like I'm not good enough. I'm gonna leave. But a voice in my head was like, you have more balls than that. Just stay and see what you can do. And I thought, okay, I can either not do this dance call well and hate every second of it, or I can not do this dance call well and find a way to have fun and just like be who I am. So being a thinking actress, I had brought I had a piece of gum with me by chance of God, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna make this work. So I put the piece of gum in my mouth, and we got to the dancing part of it, and it's me, a guy here, and a guy here, and everyone else is watching. Jerry Mitchell is sitting watching. I'm like, oh, here we go. So I start chomping the gum, and I do like the bits. I'm like, ah ha ha, I'm playing like a ditzy fun character. Like, I can do all this stuff. When it got to the pirouette into the cartwheel into the splits, I took my gum out of my mouth and twisted it around my finger and looked at the other two doing it, and I just went, whoa! Knew a lick of it. And continued the choreography from there, and I will never forget, Kevin, I didn't even know you. Kevin went, I hate you. They were all looking at you. Jerry was just looking at you.
I was like, he's booking this.
And the first day of rehearsal, Rusty Maury, our associate choreographer, came up to me and was like, I will never, in all of my years of running auditions on Broadway, I will never forget your audition, and that's what booked you the show.
Wow.
I'm actually working on a blog about it as we speak. But it
Charlie,
goes
were
to
you
show,
in the room
yeah.
for that?
I was not in the room.
Thank God, because I would never heard the end of it from you.
No.
But it
I
goes
didn't
to
get
show,
see
like,
that.
they cast Kinky Boots based on talent, obviously, but a lot of what you see up there, like, part of what makes Kinky Boots work is they cast individuals, and they cast, like, real people who have a real point of view with something to say on stage. They don't just cast, like, something bland. And I think all of the casting for 5 years has spoken to that. You see a piece of yourself in every character because they're original people, and I think that's wonderful.
And that's to say, you know, as a performer, go into the audition and just be you.
Yeah.
And bring what you bring to whatever the piece it is that you're performing, and people respond to that.
And
If
always
you take
keep
a
a piece of gum in your
And
hand.
if you do it, I just go copyright Kyle Post when you do it, and we're fine.
So at that point, Charlie, you were already involved, obviously, if you had been doing some choreography for the show.
Yeah, I was doing some pre-pro with Jerry at the time. We were probably doing like week 2 of pre-pro. So as far as dance call was concerned, I was fine. It's then I had to go sit with these fools who sing crazy high and try to keep up with the Kardashians. And so I remember going.
I'm not Courtney.
I had to go into the room and sing after that. So basically, the rest of my call was singing, which was terrifying singing for Cyndi Lauper. And then even worse, going in and trying to hold 3 to 4 part harmonies. No, only 3-part harmonies with people who are singing in the rafters. So I got past the dance part. I then had to do the terrifying part for me, which is sing with a group of people in one room.
So even though you helped craft the audition, you still had to audition yourself?
Oh yeah.
I never would have guessed that. That's awesome.
I did.
What did you sing in front of Cyndi Lauper?
I sang a stick song, and when I was done, it made me like
Stick song.
Babe.
How does that one go?
Nope. Cross arm emoji. Nope.
He has a beautiful voice, P.S.
But thank you. But I remember afterwards she said, "Oh, I love this sticks. Thanks." And that was it. I'm pretty sure sure I had a check mark next to my name because Jerry Mader put a check mark next to my name, but you know.
But you booked, hashtag booked
I
it.
hashtag booked it. So
Don't take away.
everyone's here for something, and you know that's sort of what I'm here for: my bikini and my jump split. So, yeehaw!
What was your audition like?
Kyle and I were doing Spider-Man Turn Off the Dark at the time, and you were like, girl, it's either gonna be you or me. It's gonna be you or me. Who's it gonna be?
Because we're both high tenors, so we're like, they're not going to take both of us.
Yeah, and so I just thought if I can get past the dance part and I can sing, I'll be okay. And so they gave me In This Corner to sing, and everybody had to go in and sing in this corner, no matter what, no matter where you sang in the line. And so I thought, what can I do to make myself stand out for In This Corner? So I heard a story once about Loretta Devine, that someone asked her, why is your shit so high in Dreamgirls? And she was like, oh, honey. They were firing people left and right, so I just took my stuff so high that they couldn't fire me. So I was like, I'm gonna take that advice. So I went in and I just optioned up on In This Corner a few times, and when I was done, Cindy went, that was a very good audition. I said, thank you, and then I left, and that was...
And you, everybody, hashtag booked it.
What you didn't see was the people waiting outside, because we were all at the audition and he was in the room by himself. What you didn't see was the people at the final callback waiting outside, hearing you going, wow.
What song did you sing?
I sang In This Corner, but I sang the song I sang that from my book was I Don't Wanna Be by Gavin DeGraw.
And how does that one go?
But I sang it like a drag queen, so I was like, I don't wanna be anything other than what I've been trying to be lately. This
What'd you
one.
say?
Did any of you have drag experience?
Yes.
Tell them your name.
I was in a drag group called Dragapella, starring the Kinsey Six.
Yeah.
SICKS. Do you know the Kinsey
Yeah.
Six?
We'll talk acapella later. I have a crazy acapella history.
All right. As do I. College Glee Club, the high school
Amazing.
team.
Love it.
Anyway, the Kinsey Six are an acapella drag group. They do political humor and satire, and they've been touring for, I guess, like 20, 25 years now. They're still going strong, getting amazing reviews. So that was 2002, 3, and 4. I was a member of the Kinsey Six. I got my equity card understudying 2 of them off Broadway in their off-Broadway show. That's how I met them, and then I toured with them for a while. And then I've done, theater work, shows that have drag in it, but not, outside of theater, I guess. But yes, I definitely had some drag experience.
In your audition, other than being mad at Kyle for skipping the cartwheel and doing the young thing instead, what was your audition process like?
I remember my first audition. They said they wanted to see, personality, and they wanted to see your body, so we wear tight clothes. And so I went out and bought this. I went to the kids store, or kids department at Daffy's. Anybody remember Daffy's? Come on, I miss Daffy's. And I went to the kids department and I found this little boy's tight orange long sleeve t-shirt that had a guitar pick on it that said, "Pick me." And I sure did. And I went in there in tight jeans and that tight shirt. And I said, I'm gonna sing River Deep Mountain High. And then,
and how does that
and I said, when I was a little girl, boy, I had a rag doll. Harvey Firestein reached and grabbed my resume and started looking at it. I was like, yes. So that was a pretty good experience. And then the next thing that I did was the dance call that Kyle's talking about. He also didn't tell you that they had us spinning around and then going down on the floor onto our backs and putting our legs over our heads and onto the floor behind us. It was crazy. And I moved well, but I thought I wasn't getting hired for sure. And again, you just never know what they're looking for, or what they're testing for. So you just gotta kind of show up and be you and give it your all. But yeah, I guess I stood the test of time or casting or whatever.
And you hashtag booked it. And you're still here 5 years later. I have 2 questions. I want to know from all of you, probably mostly you 4. 1, how many ice packs do you go through in a week? And how much hair removal products do you go through? Because some of those outfits are skimpy.
Yeah. You do the most hair removal.
I don't have a choice. You see a lot. Yeah, it's not much. It's mostly just like armpit. You know what I mean? Since I'm in a bikini and the big pose I have is that I just have to do that. Besides that,
We shave every day.
You have to shave your face.
But not your legs?
Oh no.
No.
Oh, really?
No.
I just assumed you were...
We wear.
I have 2 pairs of tights.
Yeah, 2 pairs of tights will normally cover it. And we have to shave our chests. Sometimes we are. These ladies have furry chests on stage. But yeah, I feel like if you're staring at my chest hair, then I'm not doing a good job.
Fair enough, yeah. And Charlie, that drop split, or as Leslie Margarita likes to call it, the cooter slam. Ouch!
Yeah, sure. I've been doing a jump split since I was probably like 12. 13, I did it in middle school and then high school and now on Broadway. So it doesn't, I'm probably just numb to it at this point. Physically, emotionally. So it does, I'm good.
All right,
Yeah.
well good, I'm glad.
You make it look so easy. So much so that I'm like, maybe I could do that. I can't. You make it look so... It's like thrilling every night watching him still. It's like thrilling to watch him do it.
Wow.
It's pretty effing amazing.
So how much dancing does a character of Charlie Price do?
A
Is
little
it just
bit.
the closing number?
It's a closing number, and God, what? Oh, and then say, yeah, I'm bad with choreography. It really takes me a second. And I mess up the finale. There's one move that I still have a really hard time doing.
Me too.
I get mixed up. I'm not great with choreography, but just been drilling it. But yeah, Charlie dances a little bit.
I feel like that sort of would fit though, like because the character of Charlie is sort of thrust onto the stage where he's not used to. So you go with it.
When
like,
I mess up,
make it your gum twirling moment.
when I do mess up, I just consider it part of the.
Character choice.
Yeah, it's just what happened.
Yeah.
What's been the most surprising thing about being on Broadway?
Oh man, the most surprising thing about being on Broadway, I knew I would love it, but I didn't know I would love it as this much. The really weird thing that happens sometimes is like this Groundhog Day thing goes on. There's one moment in the show where I turn to Jay, who plays Lola, and I say this line, "You're not serious, you expect me to gamble my family's business, this building, my home, very short on my back." And I have this every time we perform, every time we do a show, I have this really surreal moment where I feel out of time and I just feel like this thing is happening. I don't know if it's tomorrow or yesterday, or I get really have this very strange deja vu moment. It's really disorienting, actually. It's very strange. It's like a weird film clip that just goes over and over every day. So that's weird. It makes me feel where I'm just like, what is going on? And that's strange on stage when you have that weird out-of-body experience. So that's kind of a feeling I've never really quite felt before. But I knew I would love it. But I truly, it's one of the most fun things I've ever done. I'm just having the time of my life.
So are you here to stay? Are you gonna seek out your next Broadway role?
I would love to. I mean, I love it. I mean, I feel very.
Any
just,
casting directors?
I'm just really. I feel it's made me really, really happy and satisfied. I love performing. It's I feel like it's what I was born to do, and it's so awesome to get to do it every day, 8 times a week, and sometimes twice a day. And it really makes my soul very happy.
Do you have any theatrical dream roles?
Goodness. I don't know, Frankenfurter would be fun. Maybe Bobby and Company.
Oh. It's been 11 years since the last revival.
It's been a minute.
Yeah. All right. Well, how about you guys? I assume, you've been around Kinky Boots for a while. You probably stay there for a while. Do you have any dream roles that you have in the back of your heads?
Think about that.
No, just Kinky Boots forever for the rest of your life.
No, not forever. I mean, come on. I'm actually working on a show right now.
You are?
I am. Well, part of being in a long-running show, and is staying fresh as an artist. So you do outside things. I mean, I take acting classes, voice lessons, blah 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 blah, workshops and readings and concerts. But you also get to create your own art. So I created this show that's a tribute concert to Whitney Houston, where Whitney Houston basically comes down and is reincarnated in my body for a one-night retrospective concert of some of her live, iconic concert performances. We take, as a full band, backup singers who play her mother, Sissy Houston who played Bobby Brown.
It's amazing.
It's fantastic.
Amazing.
It's running, we've been doing it for about 2 years now, mostly at Joe's Pub at the Public Theater, and just really having an outside artistic outlet has been amazing, and we're actually getting a lot of offers for around the country to tour it, and I've also performed it around the world on Atlantis Cruise Lines.
And when can they see this show, Kevin?
The next performance, thank you, is actually this coming Monday, the 29th, 9:30 p.m. at Joe's Pub. Though I think as of today, there might be like 3 or 4 tickets left. Hurry up, but
jump
try.
on it.
And there will be more shows.
You want to get your phone out.
It's so good. Like the arrangements and your vocals, like it is something to behold.
Classic.
Don't touch me.
Do you guys have anything else you want to promote while we're up here and we have a captive audience?
I do. You know that bit that I was telling you about when I was in the audition room and I was like, I'm awful, they're all gonna laugh at me, I should just leave? So something sort of sparked in my mind in that moment that I was like, so everyone in the history of life has had that moment in their head, right? Like, oh, they're gonna laugh at me, or whatever those self-sabotaging voices that we have are. And something took over in that moment that I was like, no, I'm bigger than this. I'm gonna be me. So really, like, as of a couple of years ago, I started taking training to be a life coach. And it's my job to help people get from where they are to where they want to be. So whether you're there and you want to be up here someday, or you want to be on stage, or whatever it is, I work with creative people, artists, performers who are like looking to create something, and I work with them to empower their awesomeness instead of the voices in their heads that tell them that they suck. To get what they want. So you can go on kylepostcoaching.com if you're interested. Like I said, I work with artists. If you're a little bit weird, I'll probably love you.
You're saying no wallflowers needed.
No wallflowers! If you think you're Beyonce, you're close. But that's my heart. My heart, outside of doing the show, what like keeps me going in my heart is helping people get their dreams. It's like thrills me, and it's what's kept me probably at Kinky Boots for so long is, like Kevin was saying, I'm able to have something during the day that feeds other passions of mine other than the performing or Kinky Boots passion.
And he's really amazing at it too. We all take advantage of it.
Yes, we do. I get free sessions all the time.
They don't know, but whenever I leave the show or the show closes, they're all going to get an invoice from me. Past 5 years. Okay, Charlie. It's gonna hurt. Yeah.
He keeps on top of us in the best possible way. Which I'm actually writing a one-man show for myself. About growing up in New Orleans, a gay man, the son of a minister, and he's always like, "So, what's your date? What's your deadline when you're gonna do this?" So it's really good. But Annalie Ashford and Nathan Peck are gonna direct it, and two of my favorite weirdos. So that's what I'm working on now.
Do you guys want to throw out your social media handles too, so people can like get updates on these projects?
Yes. Sure. I don't know. Joey Tarantula on Instagram.
Kevin Smith Kirkwood, www.kevinsmithkirkwood.com. Then I'm Kevin Smith Kirkwood on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook.
I'm Charlie Sutton 24 on Instagram. Simple.
Do you have any projects?
Tell them about what you have coming.
So I'm transitioning off stage. I was supposed to transition off stage like a year and a half ago. I'm turning into a choreographer. No, I've been transitioning for probably like the last 5 years. But the big push has been in the past year and a half, especially this past year, with Jerry's help, with Rob Ashford's help. And a couple other director choreographers. I just got accepted to a big showcase called Dance Break, which is exclusively for musical theater choreographers, where they solely invite directors and producers to come see your work and see what you're up to and see if they can hire you for anything. So that's what I've been up to.
So if you're a performer, a young performer, look for his face. You're going to see him in audition rooms sometime. And when you can't do the step, just twirl your gum.
And I'll applaud you.
Yeah, he's fantastic.
Beautiful. We all are like family, I have to tell you. Like, we literally are like brothers. We've been together through so much for so long. Like, I can tell you what he's probably going to say halfway before he's done, and same with all these boys. There's a lot of camaraderie and love, and we take care of each other.
That dressing room is something else.
Lloyd said, like, thank God there is not a camera. Because it would be a reality TV show to end reality TV shows.
Yes.
Have you felt that you've been invited in as a brother?
Yeah, I mean, I
I know you don't share their
felt
dressing room.
perfectly. Yeah, I mean, I felt so welcome by everybody, and like, we just have. I feel like we've been having a great time.
Yeah.
And
It's hard for us because when you're on stage, we tend to not be on stage, or we're busy doing things, so we don't have a lot of like off-stage time together.
But we do have our little moments on stage, which are really fun, and yeah.
You're welcome in the Angels dressing room anytime.
It's always there. It really is. It's something else.
Kyle, did you say your social media?
Oh yeah, Instagram is Kyle Post, KYLEPOST, and my website is kylepostcoaching.com.
And Jake, do you use social media?
I do, yeah. I'm just at Jake Shears. On Twitter and Instagram. I've got a book coming out in a month that I've written called Boys Keep Swinging. For Atria, Simon & Schuster, which I'm really proud of.
Tell us about it.
It's a memoir that goes up to 2006, and I've worked on it for the last few years, and it's juicy and I don't know, I'm really proud of it. I hope people like it.
Available everywhere books are sold?
Yeah, it comes out in 4 weeks, and then I've got an album coming out at the end of the spring, kind of right before this, on my first solo record.
Amazing. Good. So we have a few minutes left, and I was thinking maybe we turn it over to the audience. What do you think? Anybody have a question for these guys? Let's start here.
Possibly very simply, did any of you, I mean, again, maybe not to Jake, since the show was already a thing for 5 years, however long it's been, but was what you said. No, had you seen the movie, or did you anyway, or did you see the movie after you heard about it? Like, what was? I'm just curious how that went.
I saw
If
the
anybody
movie
missed the
after.
question, it was, did you see the movie before you became involved in the musical?
Oh, I saw it after because I had never heard of it, and then I rented it and watched it.
I saw it before. I knew what it was. I thought it was a lovely, sweet, charming film. But, it made sense when I heard that they were going to turn it into a musical because it just sort of screamed for, singing and dancing. There are a few numbers in the show when Lola performs, in the movie rather. But, it needed some singing and dancing. But I thought it was sweet.
Jake, did you see the show before you?
I moved out of New York right before the show opened, and was in LA. I've been living in LA and New Orleans, and really haven't seen much theater in the last week. So I didn't see it for the first time until August, and and loved it.
Did you agree to be in it before you saw it?
No. I flew to New York and went to see the show.
That's good. Another question over here.
When you're in a long-running show, how do you choose that it's time to move on? And when you're asked to come back, how do you know that it's the right time?
Oh boy.
Did everyone hear that?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll start.
Yeah.
I left because that was actually the longest I've ever been in a show. I typically only stay with the show 6 months. I like to keep staying in the rehearsal process. That's my favorite part of it. I don't love the day-to-day of Groundhog's Day. I like sort of like creating a show and building it, working with the artistic team. And then sort of once it's done, you can sit with it. You're contractually supposed to sit with it for about 6 months, and then you have the choice to either stay or leave. So I typically left, but for this one I stayed a very long time.
Yeah.
I stayed about 1.5 years, and then I moved on because I had a show that felt interesting, and that's always sort of felt why I've left a Broadway show, is because it felt more interesting to start a new adventure. But when it came time and a spot opened up, this show especially, I don't think I would ever do it with any other Broadway show that I was in. This show has a family like no other that I've felt. From the crew to on stage, off stage, every part of this this theater and this show has a family element that is just, for lack of a better word, special.
Yeah.
And that's why I came back. It's because there's a heart. There's a heart in that building that is just lovely.
I was fortunate enough, not that I'm complaining, I did 3 Broadway shows back to back. And so it was 6 or 7 years of 8 shows a week, and I just got burnt out. And I had other things that I wanted to do, and I just was, and I also like, you know, my boyfriend and I have been together about to be 6 years, and we were just on opposite schedules, and I was like, I just need a break. And so I took some time off, and I did my first play, like I had goals, things that I wanted to do, and so when they called me and they said, do you want your old job back? I was like, absolutely, because truly, like, we vacation together. We are like a family. So it was a no-brainer. And also the show is very fun to do. I love my track. It's a lot, we laugh a whole lot. Yeah.
And cry.
And then for me, actually, which is a different perspective, you know, because I actually did not do, you know, lots of Broadway shows back to back. I did, you know, I've done some tours and some off Broadway and off even. So landing, you know, a hit Broadway show was a pretty big deal. And so, you know, I was sort of grateful for that. And then I've turned down auditions for opportunities that have come up because, you know, they've called it sometimes the golden handcuffs, actually. You know, because you know, it is a comfortable job situation, and you think, is this situation worth leaving it for? And so, you know, I really have so much respect for the two of them for having the courage to leave and go do things that they really wanted to do. But we're happy to have them back.
What's your question? I have a question for Jake. The other 4 individuals, they were part of the development process, so they got to rehearse together throughout the process before the previews and during the previews, but how much time did you have to learn the role and then learn all the steps once you were up here, prior to your first time actually performing in front of an audience?
I came in for like 5 days in September, just to kind of go through the script with DB, the associate director, and just kind of read through everything, just to sort of get my head around the show itself. And then I had like 3.5 weeks of rehearsals, but if I wasn't in rehearsal, I was at the show mostly, and I was usually on stage right in the wings, drilling the show. I mean, it got to where it was great because Stark Sands, you know, who originated the role, was there, and I just shadowed him the whole time, and was basically, I'm sure everyone got so sick of me, and I actually got really sick of being there. By the time the first night came around, I was ready. I was like, I cannot watch this show one more time. But yeah, I was basically on the side of stage miming the show while it was going on every night that I possibly could. So does that answer the question?
I have a follow-up question to that. Are there any personal touches that you have added into the show that are different from how Stark played it? And actually, I'm curious to ask you guys, what you've observed that is new and different since Jake joined.
I don't. Yeah, maybe you guys. I don't. I mean, I think so. I think so. I think I'm a little. I think I'm. You know, it was awesome to get to watch Stark do it, and you know, I definitely pulled so much from that. But I feel like it's my own thing in a way. I don't know. What do you guys think?
I feel like we don't get to like see the scene work. We're like downstairs. You should see what we're wearing. We look like crazy people in
They
two
do.
pairs
They
of
look
tights.
like weird
Alien
like,
with no wigs
Barbie
on.
thing.
They look
Naked
like-
Barbies.
I get to see a lot
Follow
of you.
all of you on Instagram, and I expect you to post some solid behind-the-scenes photos.
They're already
in the
up
next
there.
couple
But I
Okay.
feel like you bring in like an innocence, like a wide-eyed innocence to the role, which is uniquely you and totally fits the character, I think.
I feel like I can hear angels singing. You guys hear that? And any other observations about Jake's performance?
You've certainly vocally made it your own too.
Totally.
You know, it's sometimes it's hard when you replace someone that people try to imitate what the person before them was doing. I certainly made that mistake once. You have not done that. You have made it your own. Yeah.
Well, because when you come see the show, like, of course you want to see Kinky Boots, you want to see Charlie, but you also want to hear, like, Jake Shears from Scissor Sisters.
Yeah.
You want to hear that, like, falsetto, like, amazingness that he does, and when you come see the show, you'll hear that. You'll hear him as Charlie, which is, like, that's what you want.
Yeah.
And that's what you get. So there.
I think we have one or two more.
Has there been anyone that's come to see the show that made you like geek out and like start?
RuPaul.
Oh, honey.
We lost our minds.
Oprah Winfrey. Oprah. Oh, wow.
And then obviously because of Whitney Houston, Clive Davis, and Kevin Costner, when I met those two, I kind of freaked out a little.
Yeah.
Goldie Hawn came up to me and went, oh, "Those lips!" to me. I was like, "Oh, Goldie Hawn." Oprah Winfrey.
Oprah was.
Let me show you how, if you've never been hugged by Oprah, you don't hug Oprah, Oprah hugs you. Kyle, come to hug me. Open wide. Hi, I'm Oprah. Hi, I'm Joey. Okay. You're not hugging Oprah. She's hugging you.
Did you know that Rue was there?
Yes.
And how did you go on? Like, oh, I would be so scared. I feel like she's like everything.
Well, listen, we took an extra 10 minutes on the makeup. You put an extra cincher on.
One of us-
We're gonna pull out all the stops for Mama Rue.
One of the angels actually had their makeup done for them by their drag queen friend. We won't name the name.
Yeah, everyone just, if you're playing a character in drag, that's the ultimate.
Yeah.
She's the president. Like, she wins.
Yeah.
So you want to do Mama Rue happy. And he's very sweet and kind and complimentary of the show. Everyone who sees it loves the show. That's the good news. Like, even if you had an off night, it doesn't matter. Like, the show is fantastic, and it is its own being. So any of you who have seen it probably know, and any of you who haven't, come on down to Al Hirschfeld Theater. But it runs itself. It's just so good that people end up on their feet. I see men in the front row. So one of the reasons I'm still doing the show, I see men in the front row who, when we come out for Shazam in full beat drag, are like this. And then in the end, I see them like this.
We're like, gotcha!
Thank you guys.